This is what I would say to my younger self so that I could be happier and more fulfilled. It's all related to the mind, body, and spirit and how they're linked together, how they work together, and what they do for us. The mind, or our conscious, our ego, which is also related to our Father and the Holy Trinity, is how we contend with the world, especially when considering social interactions, financial situations, and just surviving. I want you to imagine that you're trying to build a house, but all you have is a hammer. You've got to paint, you've got to mix concrete, pour a foundation, cut wood, erect framing, all kinds of stuff, and all you've got is a hammer. You might be able to figure something out. But now imagine you had every piece of equipment imaginable. Think of how much easier it would be to build that house. That house represents you, and you've got to put it together in this world. You need to be stable enough and thoughtful enough to actually go out and contend with the world and think of the next thing that you need to do or the next thing you need to learn. So take time to sharpen your mind and keep it clean of things that plague it. And everybody has these struggles, so that when you need your mind to work for you, it's there and it's ready to go. Different things you can do for that, really specifically: read a book, listen to a book, study something, pay attention when you're at work and you're learning about tasks that you need to do consistently. These are all things you can do that'll help sharpen your mind. Your mind is encapsulated by your body, or your id. Christ was a great representation of this when considering the Holy Trinity. Our body is a vessel that we exist inside. So our mind is the conscious part, but the body is where it lives. Anything that physically affects us, like a condition or a behavior that we do, it affects all other parts of us. I want you to think about anytime you've ever ridden in a car that's on its way out. Right now my truck is a little rough to start. Sometimes it takes two pumps to start, get the fuel to the fuel pump, and it's a little bit nerve wracking. And when people ride my car, they kind of look at me when I do it. And it is what it is, but it's a little bit scary because it's like, is this thing going to start? Am I going to be able to go where I need to go and do what I need to do? Now I want you to imagine that you're riding in a nice car. And it could be any car you think is nice, right? Everybody's probably ridden in a nice car at least once. And think of that experience. It's cool. It's fun. You're not worried if it's going to break down. It just goes. Some of them are even fast. That's exciting too. Some of them look nice. It's also exciting. And it's just a good experience. It's kind of hard to put your finger on exactly why. And it doesn't absolutely need to be like that and be perfect, but it's more enjoyable, certainly. It's necessary to have a healthy and strong body. So something at least reliable, right? If we're thinking of the car example. How you think and how you feel are heavily influenced by what happens with your body. It's connected to everything. Everything lives inside it. If you just take a simple action, like go for a walk or eat a small healthy meal, see how that makes you feel. Watch how that actually bleeds into the rest of your life. And it could just be one thing. And yes, this is a short-term thing. If you eat one salad, no, you're not going to be shredded instantaneously, obviously. But you might just feel better. You might just be a little bit more productive. You might have a little bit better energy. So many implications to just doing one small good behavior related to the body. I mentioned the id before, and I also mentioned Christ before. Now, the id, in psychology terms, relates to the chariot and the horses that are pulling it. So it's how the driver is moving. It just goes. It's extremely important. It's doing everything, but everybody's focused on the driver of the chariot. That's what the id means. Now, Christ was a body or a physical representation on this earth of the Holy Trinity, the Father and the Holy Spirit, and he came here to physically show us that he is significant. The Spirit, or you could categorize this as the superego / subconscious, and then also knowing the Holy Spirit is related to our spirit, is the third component, final piece that links all this together. It weighs heavy, good or bad, on how we feel. Having a sense of existential purpose, so why does literally anything matter, is extremely relevant. Because what's inside of your mind inevitably becomes reality. If you've gone down any rabbit holes of understanding what you're doing on the rock that we're standing on, if it's even a rock, bleeds into how you do your work. And you might think, oh, that ain't me. I do great no matter what. That would be arrogant of you. If you've actually taken time to go inside of your mind and think about what's the point of this, you've encountered these kind of questions before, I have no doubt. Having a sense of purpose on a grand scale can be extremely motivating to actually gangbuster towards your goals, or whatever you think is going to give you that fulfillment, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video. The subconscious mind can be accessed, but it's a lot harder to access. I'm going to start off the point of relevance related to the Spirit with this quote from 1 Corinthians. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. The feeling of love inside of your heart transforms our reality right before our eyes. That feeling of love only is found when you consider the Spirit, when you consider the grand scale. Otherwise, we're just animals. We're just automatons. If you don't have that X factor, that unexplainable part of your life, you become hollow. And I'm speaking from experience. I've lived that life. I've been that person who's abandoned any inkling that that stuff even mattered or was possible. And it took me a long time to find it within my heart to realize that I had a soul. And that's really what I would encourage you to do if this is something you want to develop, is always seek what's in your heart. We're told to do it in the Bible, but it just works. Now, what's the thing that links all this stuff together, right? So I talked about these systems. I'd also address what's in your subconscious related to your superego and the psychology component of it, where it's the things in your mind that are jammed way back there, and you can't always access them. So a lot of times what's in our subconscious manifests in our dreams, or those are random passing thoughts that you have when you lay down and you go to bed, and distant memories from the past that just seem to come up. That is a lot of times our subconscious communicating with us. So a different piece of our brain that we verifiably have. It's our mind showing us factors that are affecting all other things that we can't just think of like that, like we do with our conscious mind. So it's super important to keep that healthy and regulated and understood on some levels. And it's a hard thing to understand. It's honestly one of the biggest mysteries in life that I'm going to be figuring it out for the rest of my life. And I already know that. And I'm okay with that. Because every little piece I understand, I get better. But in those crucial times where you can access it and you do find it, and you do find a way to search the heart, go through it. Sort through it. Right the wrongs that are in there. Because what that opens up for you in your life, and how it can transform your perspective and how you feel on a day-to-day, it can be so much better. Truly. Now, what links all this stuff together? When you consider all these systems, exponential happiness, growth, and fulfillment occur when you're firing on all cylinders, baby. So when all the systems are working the best they can for that moment. That can look very different for many different kinds of people. There's not one way. But there always is a way, especially for you if you want to figure stuff like that out. And you just take it one step at a time. I'll offer you a simple, well-known quote by Aristotle: the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So that exponential piece where everything compounds because it works together is related to all these systems that work as independent systems also synergize with each other. If you're a person that works with organizations or machines or games or art or really anything, everything is a collection of other many small things, and that is what we are. The way I've laid it out and broken it down is to paint you a picture so you can see each system, and you know how those systems work for you in your life and what pieces make which tick. But I'm offering to you the big picture perspective that they all do work together. And if you have one system that's getting hung up by one small silly thing, but you're kind of putting it off, you might not know how much that can affect everything else. For example, if you got a little ache and it's been persistent and you just got this achy shoulder and it's bugging you, you don't know how that's affecting your mind and in turn your heart and in turn how you're treating other people, because it's so easy to just get wrapped up in everything. If you're not sure where you're at with these systems, take your time and evaluate it. Look inside of yourself and try and understand what's going on. Taking one simple action can change the course of your entire life when you understand that. For me, I've figured this out over many years. Mind, body, and spirit all work together. I didn't have it all figured out. I still don't have it all figured out. There's only 3 words that I'm saying that matter to me. So I know there's probably a lot more to this that I just don't know. I'm 26 years old. I got years and years of learning ahead of me. But I do know that times in my life where I've actually focused on the mind, body, spirit collective, and I do feel like I'm firing on all cylinders, I have been significantly more happy and fulfilled. If you don't know your philosophy on life, if you don't know your faith, if you don't know why you're here, you can always figure it out. For a long period of time in my life, I had no idea the answers to these questions, and I felt very hollow. I felt very hopeless, and I felt very empty. It all starts in your heart, and it bleeds into your mind and body. I'd love to know where other people are at with their experiences. So if you've watched this long, please talk about your mind, body, spirit system in the comments. Maybe we can chat about it. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you for listening.